Hey everybody, welcome to the Private Club Radio Show, where we give you the scoop on all things private golf and country clubs, from mastering leadership and management, food and beverage excellence, member engagement secrets, board governance, and everything in between, all while keeping it fun and light. Whether you're a club veteran just getting your feet wet or somewhere in the middle, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Denny Corby. Welcome to the show. And in this episode, I am chatting with my new friend, Anahi Perez, the clubhouse manager at North Shore Country Club in Illinois. And we talk about her journey, starting off working on the bev cart to now clubhouse manager and all of what entailed through that whole process. She's very passionate and has this drive and commitment to, I think like a lot of us are, trying to, I don't want to say reshape how clubs approach things, but just the progression, the forwardness, the newness, uniqueness, the MarCom movement that is of how clubs approach their events, their community, their marketing, their everything. And so we talk about the importance of MarCom. We also touch on the topic of culture and balance and work and how to make everything work, focusing on prioritizing cultural fit and well-being for teams. And one of the best takeaways from the episode is that with enough drive and going after things and taking some risks and taking a leap of faith, that's where the best results come from. And because one day you will get your reindeer. Just call back to the episode. This is a great story, great episode. I know you're going to enjoy it. If you haven't done so already, sign up for the newsletter. Head on over to privateclubradio.com. The box pops up. There's some thanks to some of our show partners you're going to hear about a little bit later. Concert Golf Partners, Golf Life Navigators, Kenneth's Member Vetting, and myself, Denny Corby, the Denny Corby Experience, Magic, Mind Reading, and Comedy. It's one of the most fun event nights you're going to have, guaranteed. Now booking into 2025. If you want to learn more, head on over to dennycorby.com. Enough about that. Let's get to the episode. Private Club Radio listeners, let's welcome Anahi Perez. So what makes your Halloween event so much fun?
So our basement becomes like the haunted basement.
What?
It's terrifying. Adults are terrified. It's already scary on just, it's a basement. In a clubhouse, and then our maintenance team goes all out. They love Halloween, so there are adults that will not go down there, and you can see the kids that are brave and go through all of it. So that's
wild.
Mm-hmm. You know, we have the usual offerings everybody else has. You know, pumpkin carving, pumpkin decoration, bouncy houses, and everything else. But for us, cool. It's casual, and think of like going to a pumpkin farm, but in the country club.
I like it. How long have you guys been doing that for?
Oh, years, since before I got here. So years.
Oh, so it's always been like a big
club
event. We've
just gone like bigger. We go bigger every year. That's our niche. It's like, okay, you give us, we'll top that. Hold my beer. We'll go bigger.
Hold my espresso martini. Like it's. That's funny. So what's the big thing for 2024? Like what was your thing for this year?
For this year? For the whole year? Oh.
Or no. So for the Halloween thing.
So they made a coffin. It looks like a real coffin, and it's hidden, so we've changed it up, and it looks like a real coffin. Someone's going to go in there and pop out of there. So I've seen this thing come together. And when they first pitched it to me, I'm thinking, sure, make it, whatever, how it's going to be. I go in there and I was like, oh, that looks like a real coffin. So it's in
I think I was driving to, I used to go to school in Boston many years ago. And I would make the trek from Pennsylvania to New England, Boston, once, twice a month, easy. And I remember there was a truck for a casket company, and on the side and on the back, it just said, keep texting and driving.
Hey, gets a point across.
it made me. I have it on my phone somewhere. I have to find it.
Mm.
But yeah, keep texting and driving. I was like, well played, well played.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I've been excited for this chat because you do a lot for the club industry. You do a lot for the community. You do a lot for the youth. You do a lot for education. You're big on community building, and yeah, it's something that I think we need a lot more of, and I'm happy to see that you're doing a lot. Real quick, give us the the 30,000-foot view, the 2-minute story. What got you to clubhouse manager at North Shore Country Club?
Oh God, what got me? My kid. My kid. I wanted to make sure that he had a future, and I wanted him to um, be able. I want to be able to provide that for
Yeah,
him. But also because I started as like the beverage cart girl and the summer help.
yeah,
Um, I now can go back and be like, oh, I should no, this needs to change. And you can't change it when you're at the bottom. You gotta move up there and
yeah.
do it. So when I now that I'm where I'm at, I go and like, what do you mean you can't do that? Yes, you can. Like, and I tell people, I was the beverage cart girl that didn't know the difference between a Pinot Noir and a vodka soda. Like, you can do it. You just have to
Come
put
on,
your
it
mind.
couldn't have been that bad.
Yes, I remember working at the in the restaurant at my first club, and someone asked me for a Grey Goose and something and a some wine.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have known the difference. I just knew how to take the order and say it back to the bartender, and the bartender would just grab it to me. If he messed up, I would not have been able to say anything.
how old were you when
21,
you first started in clubs? And
2021.
okay, all right,
Most 21-year-olds don't know the
yeah,
difference between like um, a Grey Goose martini and perhaps a Sauvignon Blanc that is in a certain area of Italy. Like
yeah,
why would you know that?
yeah.
So,
And then at what point were you like, I think I'm going to stick in clubs?
um, the first time that one of my managers got sick, and it was a small event. I've done many events like that, and they're like, "Can you just do this? We're a little busy downstairs. This should be a no-brainer." I'm like, "Yeah, I know the chef, and I know how to get through it.
Yeah,
Got it. I got it. I got through it because I knew the staff. I knew the chef. I've done several of those small baby showers. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Uh, Now, even to this day, I have days when I'm like, I have no idea how I'm going to do this, and I go through. Okay, I've been here. I've been here before. Just get through it. Just try it before you walk out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Commit first, figure the rest out later.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you grow up in the Chicagoland area?
Yeah.
Okay,
From
all right.
Chicago.
That's a unique, fun city area.
Uh, I call it the Willis Tower. Um, if you're a Packers fan, you come to Chicago, you get what you ask.
Yep.
That's what it is. And don't start a conversation about pizza or baseball unless you're ready to have a sit down.
It can get very heated.
Yeah. I'm from the
I
north side, and I'm a White Sox fan, which is that's a topic of discussion.
I went to, this was pre-pandemic, had to be 2000,
Mm.
maybe 16, 17. I was doing a club show, and then for some reason I stayed like an extra day, and I just went on like Ticketmaster, and I got like I believe it was an $8, $10 ticket to the White Sox game all the way up just in the, but it was like the beer was 15. I was like, oh, the beer is more expensive than the ticket, but it was so much fun. The
Mhm.
stadium was fun. The people were fun. It was just a really good time.
Hey, we like our baseball. No matter what, Chicago likes their baseball. They like their sports. We have, yeah, and we can handle the weather. It's fine.
And you are a brand new CCM, right? This year. Congrats,
Mhm.
congrats.
Thank you.
How was that whole process?
Nerve wracking, a lot of studying, a lot of practice. And I recall that after I took the test, I called my GM at the time. I called him. I said, "I'm sorry. I think I failed the test." I didn't tell him that I was taking it that day. I told him I'm going to take it. I'm not telling you what day it is because I don't need any added pressure. And so I took it. I thought I failed it. Called him. I said, I'm sorry. I think I failed the test. I'm going to have to take this class all over again. And 3 days later or 4 days later, I get the email in my office, and I just start screaming like a crazy person in my office. When I got that, I was like, yes. So
what made you think that you failed?
It's a hard test. It takes a while, and it's very easy. It's very easy, simple to just like second guess yourself and not sure if you did everything that you could. So, but I am one of those persons that like, I know what I know, and if I don't know it, I'm not going to sit here looking at it for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So
what was the hardest part of the test? Like, what section did you struggle the most on?
Membership. Membership, but it is that marketing component and the terms. Yeah. That's where I struggled because I'm like, what does it mean? What is that? I don't use that terminology here. We use this terminology at the club. Yeah. So, but passed it.
What area did you kill it?
Not food and beverage. Not food and beverage. It was actually governance. So that's the one that
really
I thought I would do amazing in food and beverage, and I did fine. I was very surprised I did really good in governance and golf. But I've been in country clubs for a while, so I'm like, okay, that made sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, pretty much your whole career has been in clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part.
For the most part, private clubs.
Yeah. And then you've been at your current club for what, 7, 8, 9 years? You've been there
years, a while. Yeah, we're teetering on the 8 now.
That's awesome. Now, did you start off clubhouse manager there?
Yeah, so I was a clubhouse manager, but we had a different structure back then. Okay. So we restructured a couple of times. So back then, the clubhouse manager reported to another person. Now, the clubhouse manager reports to the GM directly. So we restructured, as most clubs do.
Yeah. What was the reason for the restructure? Just to make it more efficient, or?
Streamline it, focus on other departments. We added more departments, so now we have like HR, MarCom person. We didn't have those when I started. It was a team of 4, and so now there's like a whole gang here.
Well, so obviously then that means the club must be doing better. You must have more members. Like everything's
bigger. I'm telling you, we're bigger and better every year.
How many memberships do you have now? And where did you start at, and then where are you at now?
Oh, so we're at like 510 now.
Yep.
FMEs, and maybe we're at 430 something back in 17. Don't quote me on that number.
Nope.
Yeah.
Zero quotes. When did you start? Because I remember when we first chatted, it was a lot on the MarCom side. When did that start becoming a bigger component of your, I don't want to say beliefs, but when did that start becoming a bigger, well, I don't know, I can't even think of the word right now, but when did that start becoming a thing for you?
So that's always been in my belief, because I was in retail for a while. Mm-hmm. And when I was in retail, that was when that company was going through a rebranding. So I got to see what that meant for a company. And I was just like, why don't clubs do this? And social media was also something I grew up with. Clubs were doing that. And so it's always been on my mind. The club here specifically didn't start that fully embracing it until maybe 2020 when we got our first MarCom person. We had some people working through it and getting our feet wet with it, but not fully invested.
Yeah, it's definitely, and that's what I really enjoy too, is people are now seeing and realizing this is not an admin position. This isn't just, a part-time, this is this is a career. This is I don't want to say a lifestyle, but it's it's a way of life potentially. I mean, just, the mindset of it. Do you remember what you learned or what you took away from watching the corporate rebrand and what you took into the club space?
Yeah. So when I first joined that company, my first day, like for my first 4 hours, were just knowing the brand, knowing the history of the brand, recognizing the brand, and like everything from the color scheme, the roots, why everything was selected the way it was. And then I had known the brand for a while, so I was like, oh, yeah, that makes complete sense. I never knew that, but it makes complete sense. And as they were transitioning and the choices that were being made, I was just like, you're staying true to your brand. You're just making it modern and more embraced, because at that time they want to embrace the millennials. I'm like, makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the same thing here. I always go into clubs. I'm just like, before any employee walks into their first day, they should know what the club is for, why, you know.
And do you take that and instill that when you work with the new hires and work with new people, and it's not just even staff. I'm sure it's members also. Like, you have to instill into them what the brand of the club is and what the mission is and the values and all of that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. There's two brands really, right? There's what the members see, and then there's what the employees feel with it. And some, you have to make sure that you're aware that there's the brand that the members see, they have their perception, and then there's the brand that's in the employees as an employer. So that's two very big components. So you have your values for your members and your values for your employees.
Mm.
And that's important. We were really important for us, the culture here of our employees, as well as the culture of the members. Now, member culture is driven by its board. Employee culture is driven by us. We have full control over that.
Mm. What are some of the, what does it look like for your club from the member side and then from the employee side?
From the members, well, it's big families for the member side. Big families. That is number one. It's in our mission statement. But even if I was to tell you right here, they're all somehow related to each other. They've grown up literally with each other. They like, oh, I remember them when they were adult. I'm like, when they got married, I'm like, I knew, really? Like, and oh, we're married. They're cousin. They're my cousin. I'm like, I didn't know this. And I've been at clubs before. I hadn't seen it as ingrained as it is here. And it's just like, this makes sense. And they generally care about each other. They, if something happens, they know, they call each other, even if it's like the younger ones or the older ones. Like, you see them like, oh, I knew his kids when they grew up and they go here. I'm like, oh, you know this. I know this because I see them. I didn't know that you knew this. Like, that you go way back. And on the other side, everyone's like, oh, we have a big thing here for employees of, don't overwork yourself. You are not saving lives. We have really good workers, and it's just like, give it grace. We can figure it out. If everybody needs to be here at every single moment in time, something's wrong. So something's going to come up from time to time. Whatever your best is at today, it's your best. That's okay. Maybe tomorrow your best is better.
Have you always been that way and felt that way, or has that been a shift as well in you and your leadership and your personality?
Absolutely not. So I started in this industry when they told you have to pay your dues, and you got to work, especially as you're going up, you got to pay your dues. So working 14 days straight and 14-hour days, that was normal. They call it the 100 days of hell.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard that before. But it just didn't seem right. And I personally have had a challenge sometimes dealing with it, but I've been blessed that I had enough support to continue to do that. Being a parent, not everybody has that. And I was just like, how are other people doing it? Because I've been blessed. If they don't have it, how are they going to move forward? So it's been a shift when you go from being, as you go from the bottom of the chain to the top, and now you're responsible for making sure that they're successful. It's like, no, I have to make sure that they're happy with their life. so that they don't feel like they have to move out of the industry to get their fill of life, because they're like, oh, I have to work this. No, we don't. I can do it, or somebody else can do it. You're going to stay in this industry if you feel like it fulfills your life goals. Like, don't just work on your professional resume, work on your life resume.
What are you doing to work on your life resume?
Well, so I have a 15-year-old that will be it's going through high school, and then we're going to start looking at colleges pretty soon. We actually have one on Saturday. So
that's wild. Wait, looking at colleges at 15?
Hey, it's all about the mindset.
Wow. I don't think I looked at colleges till I was like 18.
I didn't either. But it's a topic he and I have always discussed. And so for him, it's a no-brainer now. It's just, college is after. It's not like, what am I going to do after high school? It's just like going from first grade to second grade. You don't think about it. You just do it.
Yeah.
So that's a wrap.
I want to get back to your MarCom, because that's something you're very passionate about.
I am.
And that's something that you're building and doing a lot with in the Chicagoland area, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What made you start? What put that on your radar more, and what are you doing to bring that more to light? And what are you doing in the industry to, bring more awareness to it?
Well, I've had a lot of support from the our CMA chapter here. We've always been very grassroots in this area of like, if there's a need, we'll just figure it out and put it together. The other side was, I remember when I started in this industry, that the people around me might not work. They've supported me. They've guided me. They've given me advice on things. And it's a phone call away, a text message, an email, whatever that's always been. And that's how I've gotten to where I'm at. And anytime I go to anything that's CMA related, I always find my people. There's my tribe. But
good word.
We talk a lot about operations and becoming GMs and things like that. Well, a MarCom person wouldn't necessarily be interested in any of that, because they have their own niche of interest and their own challenges. And quite frankly, it's new for the clubs. So they're the pioneers. They need their people too. They need their village. They need their tribe. And so if you put them all together, they may benefit, just like all of us have in the past, of like learning from each other's experiences. I think during COVID is what was like the biggest thing of, we didn't know how to handle every change in COVID, but we call each other. What are you doing? I'm doing this. What are you doing? How did that go? Well, that didn't go work. And well, here at our club, so don't do that. Same thing. It's our network. And while there isn't necessarily a confined space for them yet, if you just start it, it will come, feel the dreams here.
How big is your MarCom community now, and what are you doing? And actually, how did you start it? Like, so was it just like a conversation? Like, do you guys meet monthly? What's that group look like?
It started with another professional that I know in this area. She was at a different club, and she had been on the operations side, moved over to the MarCom side, and she asked for help and support with us. And I was like, okay, let's go with it. And she had like her small group that she already talked to because she'd know them. But I'm like, I don't know those people, but I know many clubs, and I'm sure that if I just call and ask to be connected to the person in charge of communications, I will talk to that person. Or if I email them, they will respond back. It's just what private club people do. And so now I think we're a group of like 15, 20 people that regularly attend or communicate between each other. And sometimes it gets up to 30, depending on who stays and how they all have movement here and there. But that's a good number to have, because we're all in this area. There's like the city clubs, there's the country clubs, there's the yacht clubs. And so there's a little bit of difference between our clubs, but maybe we can learn from each other, or at least say like, what are you doing on Canva? How do you do this? Did you see the update? Do you like it?
It's the worst. No, I'm kidding.
it was for some, it's like, oh, no, that's super easy. You just go here. And it's like, yeah, I couldn't have figured that out. Thanks.
There are some Canva wizards out there.
I don't ask me to be one. But I just want to connect them to each other. It's like, because that's what I do when I don't know how to do something. I go call somebody else, like, how did you do this? Or this is my idea. Does this sound great? And if there is no solution, at least you don't feel alone.
And that's what community is about.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about it. CMA has always given me a community, and so let's build more communities around it.
Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
Oh God, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, all right. I think we're done. I can't. Okay. No.
Wait, hold on. Canned Coke or glass bottle Coke?
See, I don't experience glass bottle Coke much. I did in Mexico, and it was very good. But then, if you really want to break it down, now are we talking like McDonald's fountain Diet Coke? Because that's a whole different animal.
Oh, that's a whole different game.
Yeah.
2 liters, not the same as the can, not the same as the glass bottle, not the same as the fountain or the gun. Mm-hmm.
Nope. What have been some of the biggest learning lessons from building your MarCom community?
Yeah, communication. Okay, to get a hold of people, some people are still email, some people a phone call, some it's a text, some is
and we say people, are you meaning members?
I'm talking professionals. Talking to the professionals.
So not even the member side. We're talking professional side.
And okay, members, paper, email, text, phone calls, and somehow you will still not get through all of them. And so you learn to accept that is okay. As long as if you know that you did your best, you put out the information multiple ways, you made it accessible, it's okay. And any feedback that you get of like, well, could this have been okay, we can see it, we can shoot for next time. That's okay. I'm not going to get 100%.
Have you always had this, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say energy, but this like almost like a calmness. Like, have you always had this like stoic a little bit? Like, it's okay. No. Hey, it is what it is. What?
No. I always used to shoot for perfectionism and everything to be great, prim and proper, the best of the best.
Yeah.
Actually, I ended up in North Shore. And my bosses would be like, aim for perfection, but accept that you won't always get perfect. And when what the hell is he talking about? I'm going to get perfect. You tell me I can't do, I'm going to do it. But when you start looking at things like communications, development, arts, those things continue to develop. So you're never going to reach 100 because what is 100 today will be 110 tomorrow and 120 the day after. So you just have to keep shooting to improve, keep shooting to that's what it is. And there was a point when I was just like, all right, I finished all the goals that I wanted. Now what? Now I have this. So I got 100%. Now I don't feel fulfilled. I have nothing else to do anymore. And so I realized that I like the challenge and I like to keep on, I like the moving target. So if the moving target is keep improving, you're going to keep improving. So you just accept that. It's like, okay.
Did having the kid help? I'm sure that had to teach you patience and it's okay. And a little bit every day, a little bit of patience, a little bit of baby steps forward.
Yeah, but I think being in the private industry is what really drove that because we kept growing. And so it was never the same every year, and so you just learn to go surf and ride the waves. I don't know if you surf, but just ride the waves, enjoy that, get wet a little. My kids actually a lot more calm than I am, so that may have influenced me in that direction. But yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. What's the MarCom journey been like at North Shore Country Club?
Um, oh, it's been really interesting. We're actually in a time of forming. So
Go on.
we did not have a marketing or communications component until maybe my second year here. And it was very part time, very um, reactive, less proactive. And then
Can
as
you can you just go into what that means a little bit, being reactive and not proactive when it comes to Marcomi stuff?
we didn't have a strategy, we didn't have like branding guides. We used whatever logo, whatever font looked good. There was, if we were going to market an event, it was more like, oh, we should market this event, not, we know we have this calendar of events and we should communicate in this way. It was, oh, members like email, send an email out, send another one. And it's just like, you know how many people like will tell you you're emailing me too much? Stop emailing me. Or will say, yeah, I get enough junk mail. Stop it with the flyers. And or some people are like, thank you for the flyer. So we were just, whatever feedback we would get, then we would react at the time. Um, we were then eventually able to put in a person and invest in that person to have the communications component as one of their to-dos, with strategy, with organization, with skill, with fun. And so that developed a couple of years ago. We actually ended up getting a very talented person here, Jillian. She is amazing at what she does because she's very well organized, but also is very creative. And so she took it to a different role of, all right, this is our brand. This is what this tells you. Don't bombard them with this. We have good usage rate here. She was giving statistics and giving us knowledge. So now we were, again, proactive, strategic, not just shoot from the hip and let's see what happens. And so now we've gotten to a level of, don't just do for the sake of doing. Plan on what success is. Plan on what it's going to be, because that's the right way of doing things.
Mm.
So, it's thought out. And here's the other side of it. You can't go, when something doesn't go well, you can't say, oh, well, we should have marketed it. No, we did. We did. And that had its rates.
That's no, I think that's a really good point. There is it's I was just talking with Ben Lorenzen about this too, and some other people. It's you put on the events, or whatever it is, you do it, you promote it, you put it out, and whoever shows up, as long as they have a good time, and you and the staff have a good time. So if it's not the biggest turnout that you expected, oh well. As long as everybody had fun, you may have lost a little bit. Oh well, it's not going to be the first, not going to be the last. It's just about having fun for the members and showing them that, hey, we're going to try some stuff. We're going to try new things. We're going to continue doing fun old things. But at the end of the day, we're here to have a good time.
Well, and here's the other side that Jillian really brought us. There's a marketing component after the event.
Ding, ding, ding.
So it's not just the beginning, it's the end. And how do you tie that all together?
And using the marketing, the collateral, the things from that event to when you do it again, go, look how much fun this was. And then using it to promote the next one. And, giving it 1, 2, 3 different tries to see. And then at that point, I think after, 2 or 3 times of trying something, if for some reason it doesn't, you're like, okay, well, was it us? Was it them? What, the who, what, where, when, why, that's when you can really figure it out. But I think just doing it once, you can't get a full feel for if it was really a, success or not.
Well, we as managers can think it's a success or a failure. Trust me, we've been in there and we're like, oh, that didn't go well. And then the member's like, oh, that was phenomenal. And it's just like, yeah, okay. You're the ones that say it. you know.
Were we at the same event? No.
And will you have some nasters? Absolutely. But hey, I have pictures and a bunch of emails from a lot of members that said it was great. And Jillian utilizes all of that information very well, like all the pictures that we gather. It's getting us to a different level of use the resources in the best way possible.
Now, how long has Julian been with you in the club for?
Jillian's been with us for actually a little over a year. She will actually be leaving us here next week.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. So we're in the search for the next person.
It's a sad, but also a good place to be. Yeah.
Yeah. It's exciting in the sense of like Jillian got us to a different level. And so we now know this is where the level starts. It doesn't come from down here. It starts here. And that's exciting. You know?
Yeah. What are you, so now knowing all of this, what are you looking for in this next person coming in? So because, you've been at the club 7 years, you've seen this progression of MarCom, you've seen what the club can do with someone who's designated, who's in that spot. You've had a person who's done it well, obviously. Unfortunate that she's, moving on to, greater pastures. She's not dying. That sounded like she was dying, but greater pasture. No, I'm kidding. But so now you as a group, you as a whole, what are you now looking for? Because I'm sure what you were looking for a year and a half ago when you brought her on, I'm sure it might be different now, that you've had a good person in place. What are you now looking for, and what's that next step for you guys?
So this is the best thing about Jillian, and this is what I'm also looking for in the next candidate, is her willingness to push us outside our comfort zones and our boundaries. Because communications, it's changing and outside of our industry, it is utilized heavily in many ways that we don't utilize it in our clubs. And so when she would have a case for something, you would know that she would have it. And she was comfortable making us uncomfortable. And I love that about her because it just pushed us to be better. And so someone that has that drive of like, let's get better, let's do more. Even if you say no, I'm going to come back tomorrow and ask again. It's a drive, it's grit. The other side is Jillian. She was a good cultural fit for us. So that's the other side. I look heavily on cultural fit for our group. It's what makes all of us really happy. And happy is what makes them want to come back. So whenever we have our ops meetings, sure, we have the usual, like, I'm doing this, and this, tomorrow I'm doing this. But then we have fun in there. We joke around. There's good energy.
That's I like important. That. Did she come from clubs? Yeah. Or was this her first club?
No, she came from clubs. She came from the East Coast. And so now she was in the Midwest. And so that was awesome to have.
And now she's going to California. She's working her way across. No, I don't know.
Oh, no. It's not going terribly far. But she came from a city club. So that was also the transition of a city club into a country club.
So, and that's a cool perspective coming from not just the club space, not just another golf club, country club, but coming from a city club, because that's a whole different animal.
Yes.
Especially because a lot of the members of city clubs are also members of a country club. They're usually members of both as well. Mm-hmm. So that's a whole different animal. And to do that effectively and well is very difficult.
She had, for every event that we had that was larger and typical for the country club to have, she had like curiosity and she had some joy in it. And then I want to say a sense of like a wonder, because she had never done it. After, I remember her first Independence Day event with us, she was so like, this is amazing. You put people there and all these kids are there. I'm like, yeah, that's typical. But her wonder of the event, like in curiosity and love of it, I was just like, oh, I remember that. And that's what we need. Like that's a good thing to have, the fascination with it.
That is the golden nugget, right there. No, it is true. Just to have that sense of wonder, that curiosity is huge, huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's where innovation comes from. When you start to, I think back to, me and like magic. That's all magic is, just being curious and finding out, oh, I didn't know that this thing can do this, or it's like tinkering. It's just like, oh, I wonder what happens if I flip that. Oh, what happens if I go here? Oh, I get
Mm-hmm.
zapped. Okay, not going to do that again. But at least like but that's just where creativity and stuff comes from. So, oh, that's
And
solid.
that's great because I've done these events, so I can do the basic of it, but that extra spice just helps us go to the next level.
Yeah.
So it's
Is
like
there
having cookies, like chocolate chip cookies, and adding salt to it. Try it.
what?
Try it.
Salt to chocolate chip cookies.
Just a little bit of sprinkle before you bake them.
Now, okay. So when you eat watermelon, do you put salt on the watermelon?
I'm Mexican. I put tahini.
So I did a group in Texas, and it was the State Department of Texas Health Protective Services. I was doing a thing for them, and I think I did like a Instagram of putting like salt on my watermelon. He's like tahini, so I went and found it. I was like, this stuff is game changer. I was like, it was so good. And then I was just down in Mexico, and it was everywhere. Like as soon as you come off the plane, they like sprinkle you with it. It's amazing. Okay.
All right. So did I make up for the Pepsi thing now?
Yes. We are now back to even. We are we're back to level. It's I wouldn't. It's we're back to level.
The one thing that I would like to say is I would like our professionals to get uncomfortable and to be happy about it. There are so many things that we like to be in control of. But like real success comes when you just try something new, go through the discomfort, see let it come to you. It might not be that bad. Let your hair down.
I feel like we were that way during the pandemic, and it's going to be very hard to get back to that point. I don't think I don't think we're going to be as creative as we were during that time.
I would challenge that. I would
Please
challenge
do.
that. I get it because it's not a good reason. Give me a good reason to not. Give me a good reason not to have some joy or like we got uncomfortable and we did it great. Like the club the club business just got better. So why not embrace that?
I think it's hard for it. It was because like limitations force creativity. I
Mm-hmm.
think for that, I think force. I think being forced, we won't be as creative as we were for that. What 6, 7, 8, 9 months?
Right. What I'm getting at is surround yourself with the creative people. If you're not a creative person, open your mind to listening to the one kooky idea. I tell this to my staff. One day you'll get your reindeer. So, side story. For many years, I wanted for a Christmas event, I wanted to bring reindeer. Like we had gotten the Santa, we gotten
Yeah.
like all the characters or whatever, but I wanted real reindeer. And every year I'd ask, "Can I get reindeer?" No. "Can I get reindeer?" No. Every year. During COVID, I asked for reindeer, and someone brought me ponies with antlers. So I lost a little a little like didn't go well for me for the next couple of years when I asked it. But one day I wore them out like they're like, "Fine, get your reindeer." I got reindeer. And it was awesome to have the reindeer here.
And I'm sure the members loved it. The kids must have freaked out. It was probably they probably then went to themselves, why do we wait so long to bring in the reindeer?
So that's what I'm getting at. It's like if you're not the creative person, then get comfortable with bringing the person that is creative and a little to the left on how you think and just listen to them. Say yes for one thing. Just try it. One day you'll get your reindeer.
That might end up being the title of the episode.
Hey, this beverage cart girl somehow ended up being here, and got a reindeer.
And I think that's going to be the clip that starts the episode now. So you knocked it out of the park. This is awesome. I want to thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate this. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for all you do for the industry, for Chicagoland, for the MarCom people, for the club people. Keep doing it, keep killing it, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, then. Take care. All right. Enjoy your tajin.
Hope you all enjoyed that. If you did, a like, share, subscribe with a friend, a colleague, your team. A 5-star rating is always appreciated. It means the world, costs nothing. And if you want to throw a review, even better. That's this episode. Until next time, catch y'all on the flippity flip.